Hey boys and girls, it's Mr. Pride. I'm here with Mr. Berkman. He's at the camera right now. Give us a little nod, Mr. Berkman.
That's it.
Yeah. We're at the Flint Hills Discovery Center in Manhattan, Kansas. On a map of the state, it's right here. You see Manhattan. We're right by the cons of Prairie. And in the middle of the Flint Hills, all this green stuff. Olathe is way over there. It doesn't even show up on the map where we're standing. There's some really cool stuff in here. We're going to give you a few little bits and pieces as we go today. So stick with us. All right. So we've been out on the grassland. We've seen what it looks like. The huge open spaces and the beautiful grasses. Now let's take a look at what's underneath. Follow me. Look at these roots coming out of the ground, or into the ground. We're underground right now. All right, boys and girls, have a look at some of the different grasses we'll find in the mixed grass and tall grass prairies of Kansas. This one right here is little blue stem, and if you look at this black mark right here, that shows ground level. This is the root ball underneath, and that's the grass stalk on top. This grass grows 2 to 4 feet tall over the year. Cattle love to eat it, and it also benefits from controlled burns. Come on down here. This one's called Eastern Gamma Grass. There's the ground level. This grass grows 4 to 8 feet tall. And look how deep the roots go. The roots go about the same distance underground, 4 to 8 feet tall. This one is my favorite. This is the big blue stem. This grass grows from here to the top, 8 to 10 feet tall. That's taller than a basketball goal. Probably Jerry couldn't even dunk on that. The roots also grow 8 to 12 feet deep into the ground. Look how far down they come. That's such a hardy grass. This is why burning doesn't hurt it. They can regenerate from the roots. So burning doesn't really affect this grass. This one is switchgrass, and if you look up close, it's kind of thick. Like in the old days, a farmer might have used a switch from a tree, and this kind of looks like a switch from a tree to spank their babies if they were bad, didn't drink their milk. This is one of the big four. It can grow 11 feet tall, and it is really hard to walk through when it's at full maturity. The roots also go very deep, another 11 feet deep, just like the roots almost grow as deep as the plant grows on top, as the stem grows. All right, I've got 2 more for you. Come here and check this one out. This is Indian grass. It grows 7 feet tall. Its roots are 7 feet deep. It's got it has a head that you would recognize, kind of a plume-like head. You'll see, this is very common. You'll see these a lot, green stem and kind of a grain head at the top. This is really, really common, right outside Olathe. And this one's called Side Oats Gamma. It only grows 2 to 3 feet tall, and you can see the roots also don't go very deep, but it has a really cool seed head. If you can come in here and zoom in, it's called Side Oats Gamma, and if you can see how the oats grow off the side, these are the seeds of the plant on the side, and they're kind of drooping down, ready to drop and grow more grass. All right, that's all I got for the grasses underneath the prairie grassland. But Mr. Berkman is going to come and talk about some of the animal life that we'll see.
Now we're going to talk about some of the larger animals that live underground. We're going to call these burrowing beasts. There's a couple advantages that animals have to living underground. First of all, obviously, you can stay away from predators. So let's take a look here at the prairie vole. This little guy is hiding down here in his home, and living underground keeps him out of sight and out of touch from anything that's trying to eat them. So that's one benefit. They can hide from predators. Second is, as we told you when we were out in the actual prairie, that the summers get really hot and the winters get really cold. So living underground is a great way to stay a little bit cool like this prairie king snake here, during the summers. Or if they go deep enough, it's kind of like a barrier from the cold when it gets frozen in the winters. So it helps regulate their temperatures, and where they can live in a good place. The short-tailed shrew, this guy's pretty interesting right here if you want to take a look at him. Something cool about him is his metabolism's really fast, which means he has to eat. And they will eat and hunt all day long. And they eat things like worms, grubs, insects, fish, frogs, small mammals like the vole we just talked about. And so this is a fun thing. If you had a metabolism that was as fast as this shrew, if you weigh about 100 pounds, you would have to eat 720 bananas every single day. Or if you're a little bit heavier, 1,536 servings of macaroni and cheese. Now, I love me some mac and cheese. Don't get me wrong, but that's a little too much. Yeah. And someone like Mr. Pride and I's size, we would have to eat almost 2,000 cheeseburgers a day. All right? So even Coach Cheese couldn't handle that much, I don't think. Over here we got the badger. You can see his claws have been adapted to dig down into the ground. So the problem for them is that the ground can get really hard, and they also have to get through all these roots and all the plant stems like Mr. Pride was telling you about earlier. So it can be difficult to dig down in there. Hopefully you haven't had to run in with one of these guys. These are skunks. These are also burrowing beasts that live underground. And then finally, you don't actually find prairie dogs on this prairie. It's kind of a misnomer there. But what you do find is coyotes, and coyotes are what keep them away. And fun fact about coyotes, they actually will help the badgers that you just saw with the big old claws hunt. They hunt together, so that's a type of symbiosis. Now my question for you is, what type of symbiosis would that be? What you're looking at right here is a sample of some of the real soil from the Kansas Prairie. And the reason that the soil is so important is because it provides the nutrients and everything that all the plants and animals need to survive. And without it, there would be no grasslands in this area. And just like we talked about when we learned about food webs, everything in this ecosystem is very important, and they work together to make it healthy and strong. So what we have here is a couple of the different pieces of this woven puzzle, what makes this soil so healthy. So we start with the bacteria here. Bacteria do a lot of things for the soil. They release nutrients. When they eat stuff, they release byproducts that the plants need that they don't get naturally. We're going to be learning about bacteria here pretty soon. Fungus, kind of like the fungus you find like on maybe the bottom of Mr. Pride's feet, except this kind's actually good. Instead of being itchy, it's they do the similar things, and they also can have symbiotic relationships with some of the plants where they give each other stuff. Nematodes and earthworms are two of the animals that are at play here. They eat a lot of the things that's found in the soil, and especially earthworms. Fun fact about them, they dig underground, and how they dig their holes, since they don't have hands or anything, they actually eat their way through. And so they're just eating dirt, and then whatever bits and pieces of plant matter that's in that dirt, they'll pull out and use for nutrients. So kind of nasty. This is the green June beetle larva, and Bear Grylls would probably eat something like this, and because it's tons and tons of nutrients, especially protein, and these bad boys. So maybe when we go outside next time, Mr. Pride can find something like this and cook it up, just like he ate the grasshopper one time.
Yum yum.
I'll show you the video. It's pretty funny. And then these are some more. The eyed click beetle, cicadas, millipedes, and centipedes. These are all these are insects, and then these are different types of arthropods that all have very close interactions to keep the soil healthy. But inside of the soil, Mr. Pride told you about plants, and we're going to talk about some bigger animals that also live in the soil.